I'm really curious as to what happens with the media industry because we were talking about this the other day. Let me do this again because people are really interested in this cable TV ratings. We did a segment on it. The segment was massive because people. Hold on, let me see if I can pull this one up. It's here we go.
Who has the biggest show? Gutfeld? Who's the biggest show on the network?
On Fox,
I still think it's probably 8 p.m. or The 5.
It used to be Tucker.
Jesse Waters or The 5, I think, probably.
It's the personality
So
stuff.
Jesse
it's not
took
the,
his spot.
Check this out. Check this out.
News show.
Week of February 2nd, cable news ratings. Fox is the only network to grow. And the only thing that really matters, well, first I'll say this. Fox News had 2.633 million viewers. 275,000 were in the key demo. Yo, that terrifies me, man.
That's outrageous.
Check this out. Check this out.
It's like 10% of the
They do 175,000 in daytime. This is crazy. MS Now,
But I would argue that the key
134,000.
demo, though, Tim, because old people buy more stuff, so it's almost better if you have like
No, this is my point, bro. Boomers are about to turn 80. They're about to die. Like it's called the mortality shelf.
Yeah.
So Fox News is going to cease to exist. There's no way you support the studio for the 5 at those salaries. Jesse Waters, big fan, appreciate he has been on the show quite a bit. His rumored salary, I don't know if the actual numbers, I think it's $5 million a year or something like that. Ain't no way you're paying him $5 million a year off 275,000 viewers per night. Not happening.
Well, and you're talking about the key demo, though. I mean, they're if they have old people watching, they're more likely to buy the products.
Alex, my point is the old people are dying.
Yes.
And when their ratings drop from 2.63 in Cunol commercials down to $225,000 for beer commercials, they're not going to generate enough ad sales to support big studios.
I agree. They are a dinosaur, and they're gonna get hit by a metaphorical comet any day. I agree.
All of them. I mean, MS Now. I don't even understand how MS Now exists. And rumors are MS Now's daytime is 75,000.
In the key demo.
Bro, I kid you not. I could launch a brand new podcast on chicken farming with Elaad, who has no experience, and I, who literally have no idea for the most part about chickens, and we'd get more views than MS Now gets in
Well, it'd be
daytime.
interesting because Elaad doesn't know anything about chickens at
To
all.
be fair, it would be really funny to hear us BSing the whole time about nonsense and laughing about chickens, and that's more entertaining than MS Now.
I do like eating your chicken's eggs. It's one of the best Timcast perks to working at this company. Yeah. Like, I don't know. I've never had real eggs.
It's true. Employees at
real
Timcast get first come, first serve eggs from Chicken City.
There's always way too many, too. So
It was funny. I asked my wife the other day. I was like, "Oh, did we get eggs from the store?" And she goes, "No, I couldn't fit it in the bag. I decided just to not get it." And then I had to walk over to the chicken coop and grab some eggs.
A lot of
I will
All right, we're
say
gonna make pancakes.
On this
Chicken
key
farm.
demo stuff, though, this is for advertisements. However, older people vote a lot more than younger people, so they're still getting their message out to some of the most important voters.
I got to stop you right there.
They're going to die soon?
Yes. The mortality shelf is now, which means life expectancy being 79 doesn't mean when you turn 79 you die. It means some people live to 85, 90, 100. Some people die at 70. The expectation right now, as boomers have just hit life expectancy, is that there's a curve from 79 and down where we're going to see a certain amount of death. So if we cut off the portion that's expected, the higher end of the bell curve, that will live beyond 80 years old, as some do, we're looking at, they estimate like 30 million deaths in the next 4 or 5 years from average life expectancy deaths. This is the reality. People die around this age, which means in the next year or so, total viewership, to be fair, when Tucker Carlson was on the air, he was doing 3 to 5 million per night with like 600, 700,000 key demo. Now, that's Tucker Carlson. I get it. When he left, the numbers did go down. But even now, looking at the numbers, they are saying like, well, they're up this month, 12 in the demo. That's good. And that is good. But their total viewership is collapsing while their key demo is going up a little bit. Again, you are not going to sustain CNN, Fox News, or MS Now. And the rumors are that the story broke that with was Warner Brothers is talking to Paramount or something like this. And I don't know. I don't even know where CNN is anymore because it's been sold so many times. But CNN is a worthless company. It is worthless. They don't have enough views to actually bring in money. Now, to be fair, technically they do because they're getting, this is apocalypse. Look at this. CNN gets 753,000 total prime time. That's old people. They're doing 142 in the key demo. They're down 16% in the key demo and 9% in total. Daytime, 527,000 total viewers. Total.
And that's being on in every airport in the country.
Okay, what you guys need to understand is that 142,000 prime time does not mean 1 hour. It means total.
All night.
The expectation is then in, I think it's 3 or 4 hours, they're doing like 40,000 viewers.
I mean,
That's
they're dying.
crazy.
I'm not surprised at all, really. I mean, I think everybody watches stuff on their phone. They watch short form content. I mean,
I'm gonna let you guys in on a secret. You guys want to know a secret?
Yeah, what's the secret?
A meeting was held a couple of weeks ago in Florida with big executive figures specifically to discuss how they enter this space. So we've heard quite a bit after the election that they needed their own Joe Rogan on the left, and there were concerns that older people are voters and they have this big block, but they're now recognizing that they've got only a couple years left where they can still sell ads to old people who have money. So there was a meeting that took place with a bunch of executives who intentionally met just to talk to each other about how they solve this problem. So here's what you can expect. Big shows like, let's just go with Joe Rogan. He's the king of the castle, right? Mm-hmm. Don't be surprised if, and I'm not saying there's anything I know about this. I'm not saying Joe would actually do this. I'm just saying I would not be surprised if a year from now we find out that like Comcast bought the Joe Rogan Experience. And they're like now airing on NBC at 9 p.m.
they wish they could, but I mean, the fact that it shows 3 hours, though, how are they going to do that?
They put the first hour on live, and then they say the last 2 hours are exclusive at NBC Plus.
Yeah, I mean, they could do it that way.
And they've already got Bill Maher on Paramount. I think he's on Paramount, right?
I think
No, he's on Max. Duh, he's on HBO.
The podcast that he does in his basement?
No, Real Time.
Oh, well, I know that's HBO, but I think his podcast is independent, I thought.
Yeah, it's his own company. Again, I would not be surprised if these big companies start to, well, actually, I will say this. Like Jimmy Kimmel, we all make fun of his ratings being bad. He gets a lot of play on YouTube, but these are just clips. They need long form. And so I have my speculation right now is to consider, not that I know what's going to happen. Jimmy Kimmel might get a banger of an opening 10-minute, but that's not going to compete with the longer form stuff that you see from the likes of Rogan and the podcast space, where they've done these massive $100 million deals with like Travis Kelce and like Call Her Daddy, which means they're going to need a show that is conversational long form style for their premium platforms. And it's not going to be Jimmy Kimmel. I wouldn't, considering the TV model of the 9 p.m. live is basically out and primetime is dying. No one's really watching these live kind of shows. You know, the question is, does Timcast IRL need to be live? Most of the people who watch afterwards as VOD. So we just are live because it's convenient for people they want to hang out. But I think what we'll end up seeing is, or I should say this, I would not be surprised if, take a look at any one of these big lefty podcasts, if they buy them and then put them on the air.
You think what's his name?
In 20 years, Hassan will be on MSNBC. Yeah.
Brian Taylor Cohen or something like that.
Brian Taylor Cohen. And it's going to be conversational, long form, hour long with probably not commercial breaks. Probably it's going to be, you're going to be watching quote unquote TV, but TV's dead. They're just going to have, Netflix is already doing this. What am I even talking about? Have you guys gone to Netflix recently? They have a podcast section now, and they bought a bunch of podcasts. And to be honest,
anybody worth naming?
Nobody you've heard of.
Okay.
And so I say this. I pay attention to all of the media industry. I run a business, so I'm constantly tracking trends, ad rates, all that stuff. And I go on Netflix and I look at their podcasts and I'm like, I've not heard of any one of these guys. But it makes sense because the strategy has always been like this. Let me tell you the urban legend of Green Day. You guys want to hear the urban legend of Green Day?
Sure.
The urban legend goes like this. And actually, Phil, you can probably attest to this better than I could. The label, I can't remember which label they were signed to, signed 15 bands that were identical to Green Day. It was the pop punk era. It was the late 80s, early 90s. And they said, look at these bands that are popping up and getting a lot of attention playing pop punk. Sign them all. Then, whichever one makes it to the top of the mountain, we blast them off and we do the bigger deal with them and we promote them. And so the general idea was, instead of looking for big established artists and doing massive contracts, sign a bunch of tiny artists at dirt deals and then try and find which one is the diamond in the rough that you can turn into a big prize. And Green Day had a smashing hit with Dookie, and what was next? What was after Dookie?
After Duke, I don't know which one.
I don't know. Anyway, you get the point. Like Green Day nailed it. They took off, and so the labels were like, okay, all these other little ones were worthless. We didn't care. The strategy is likely going to be the same. The big networks don't care about shows like ours because we're established and make a lot of money. Why bother? Right now is the opportunity to buy 10 small podcasts and then give a little light sprinkling of marketing, see which one bubbles up a little bit, and then dump your marketing budget into them, and then you own 100% of it.
I feel like they're already doing that, giving out record deals. I mean,
They've done that for ages with record deals.
Right.
So,
that's the play. You sign a bunch of small dirt artists for cheap, and then whichever one takes off is your moneymaker, and you own everything. Like I think we were talking about this, Phil. I think the story with Paramore was that Hayley Williams signed a 360 deal for 20 years.
Yep.
That I don't know full details, but this meant that literally anything she ever did was owned by the label for 20 years.
Yeah, 360 means they get a piece of the merch, they get a piece of the they get publishing, they get ownership of all the music, basically anything that artist does for however long the term of the contract.
20 years. It's like, you want to be famous? Okay, we get 20 years of everything.
But she does get 20 years of consistent pay, no matter.
Well,
yeah, but not when she's smashing it and doing stadiums, making millions of dollars, and she's only getting paid hundreds of thousands.
The way they talk about it is they say, well, we like to sign artists for the life of the artist.
Right. Yeah.
If they can get you for 20 years for 10 records, they'll do that because from the label's perspective, they're like, well, we don't know if you're actually going to be famous. We don't know if you're actually going to write stuff that's good. So we'll sign you and we'll put this money into you. So we want to make sure that we have your catalog and have you on long enough to actually.
You know how evil these people are? Michael Jackson was innocent.
Tell me about it.
He was framed 100%. Even, Wade Robinson and James Safechuck, the two people that said that they were molested in the documentary. One, Wade Robinson was his lead character witness in not one case, but 2 court cases where Michael Jackson was, totally exonerated, never charged, investigated for 19 years. And that's what they said. That's the reason why Conrad Murray killed him, because Sony wanted to get all of his originals because he had like the largest personal collection. He had the Beatles. He owned the Beatles. So it's just very suspicious. These labels will literally kill their artists.
Michael Jackson bought Paul McCartney's.
He bought all the Beatles
yeah.
and the Beatles.
Yeah.
I'm a huge Michael Jackson fan. I'm just a little bit surprised hearing this come from you because I feel like you'd be able to work a lot of.
No, Michael Jackson was innocent, and even the one settlement he paid to Jordy Chandler, they were going to fight it, but it was just easier to pay him because there was no criminal charge with it. So it was just easier to pay the guy and make him go away. And on top of that, Jordy Chandler's stepdad, who was the one that kind of motivated Jordy to say all this, ended up dying under mysterious circumstances, like did a suicide and quit his job as a dentist, like totally spiraled out. But if you just look at Wade Robinson, that's the guy that was in the key guy in the documentary Leaving Neverland. Literally, he dated Michael Jackson's cousin. After his death, was at his funeral, like loved the guy, defended him in multiple court cases, and then all of a sudden he's dead. He's like, oh yeah, he molested me trying to get.
There were some weird circumstances surrounding Michael Jackson, though, despite.
Well, Macaulay Culkin and Corey Feldman both slept at his house with him and said nothing weird happened. I do believe that he was a little bizarre. They did Arrested Development, but I wouldn't know what it's like to be like a superstar celebrity at 5.
Sure, but if Epstein were to do those things and just I had some people sleep over my house.
Epstein
and
was
children.
guilty.
Totally different.
And Michael Jackson was not. Because Michael Jackson was investigated by the FBI, he never went to jail.
Yeah.
So if there was any evidence that could have nailed him, I think they would have nailed him. So Michael Jackson was
and
innocent.
now-
It's very likely that Michael Jackson was innocent, like didn't do anything.
Now, what about R. Kelly?
Oh no, he urinated him.
he's
filmed
guilty?
that, yeah.
Oh,
you didn't see the
damn.
tape?
No, I thought.
Have you never seen him?
No, I didn't watch it.
Well, I have it on my phone if you want to watch it. after
You
this.
have it on your phone.
I'm a big R. Kelly fan.
Wait, she was an underage child.
No, she wasn't, I don't think. Well, I don't have it on my phone. That's a joke.
This guy.
Was she underage in that? The girl in the video?
I don't know.
I don't
just say,
think-
I think
add
she was, like,
allegedly.
16.
Well, otherwise,
She was?
wait, what would be illegal about it then if she wasn't underage?
Oh, I guess maybe she was. Well, maybe I haven't seen the video, but I could have sworn I've seen that video. But maybe
Good
Yeah,
thing you don't
dude,
really
that's a
have it on your
disgusting
phone
thing
then.
to do.
I don't really have that on my phone. Oh my gosh, that is a bad joke. Well, I thought he just peed on a woman of age. I forgot that it was a child.
I understand it correctly. It was an underage person.
It was an underage person.
I think so. I think it was like 17.
Okay, well, I've not seen it. I was just making a bad joke, but I didn't.
Maybe
Obviously,
you have more in common with Epstein than you thought.
He did pee on somebody. No,
You know, you both have this type of
you're
content
the one
on your
that's
phone.
defending Epstein. See, I don't understand. That's the hill you want to die on. Like, I get.
What do you mean by
I guess
defending him? No, I
You're
just think
like,
there's a.
Oh, it doesn't seem like it's like that connected. It doesn't seem like there's that much information to really connect them. Like, we don't see anybody that's guilty. Like, you had to have heard yourself.
There's way more evidence incriminating Epstein than there was.
No, I think you overpromise on a lot of the Epstein stuff to make it more salacious, to sound
You
sound
don't
like
think
a more
it's
sexy
salacious
thing.
that Bill
No, it's
Clinton with
salacious
him on-
enough.
on
I
a
think it's
private
salacious
jet
enough, but I think you need to go through.
27
I don't think they're eating children. religion.
You don't think that?
I don't think that, and I don't think there's much evidence of that
either. You
either.
don't think cannibalism exists?
I do think cannibalism exists.
Okay.
I don't think there's evidence of him doing that. But when you start tacking
Most
on,
hyperbolic
when you
men
start
that I
tacking
know
on all
are
this
sitting here
extra
poking at
bullshit,
each
it
other.
really
It's
muddies
not
the
extra bullshit.
muddies
And
the
fact
water
that it
of the
even bugs
legitimate.
you, why are you personally? Even if people said that he's an astronaut, why do you even care? Like, it's weird that you get butthurt
because it
about
muddies the
people's
water of the legitimate
misrepresentation.
story. There's a legitimate story to be had here,
I would
but
argue
no,
that
you
it
want to
puts
tack
more
on a bunch of
attention to
extra
it.
random
You're just
bullshit to
like,
make it
for
sound
some
more
reason, you
salacious.
just want
That's
to
the
protect
issue here.
Jeffrey Epstein. I think it's so
Yeah, I want to
bizarre.
protect Jeffrey Epstein.
Yeah, dude,
To
you're
what
on
end?
his side.
He admitted it. He admitted it. I heard that.
In
To what
this
end?
argument,
Flip
you
it.
have been defending him, dude. You
Flip
sound
it.
like such a shill. It's ridiculous. You're like literally.
No.
you're like,
I want
it's not that
evidence.
bad.
I want
There's no-
evidence-based
you didn't eat
accusations.
any kids.
You don't care about any evidence. You'll accuse anybody of anything.
There's 3 million.
Just
pieces
because
of
they're
evidence.
emailing about jerky doesn't mean they're eating
Dude,
children. It
he's
doesn't make
with
sense.
The Prime Minister. He's with the most important people in the world, and they're sending odd.
Therefore, they're
bizarre
eating
emails.
children.
I would say that they probably worship the devil. A lot of these people that are in high, powerful positions like that, yes, and I would think that they do satanic rituals. Dude, so have you ever heard of like Skull and Bones? Yeah. They went and what did they go do?
That proves it.
They
No,
went
you
and
tell
stole
me.
Geronimo's skull. I'm saying, so what they do is they do weird stuff with bones and bodies. I know that you can't understand that.
No,
'cause
I
your
believe-
brain, you're too young. You
Okay,
don't get
yeah.
that these people are actually evil, and they do weird rituals. There's a guy named Aleister Crowley. You should look him up. A famous occultist, and people would go to Hollywood parties where they would literally do spirit cooking. You looked up Marina Abramovich. You know who Marina Abramovich is?
No, tell
She's
me.
a famous spirit cooker, and part of her art is doing spirit cooking where they get blood and piss and semen and they write words on the wall and they summon devils. And she's been on Microsoft commercials.
Do they
She's hung
actually
out.
summon devils, or they try to?
They
Summon
try to. I would argue that if God is real, which I do believe, then there are evil spirits, so the devil's real.
Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.